Good evening. Today I'd like to get into lithium-ion batteries again, but this time focusing on some of the crucial elements, in particular manganese. 50% of lithium-ion batteries that go towards EVs in particular are based on NMC technology. That's nickel, manganese, cobalt. So as part of the EU Critical Minerals Act, Inflation Reduction Act, manganese is absolutely essential for these batteries. Okay, so where do we get it from? Well, currently 95% of processing of manganese and supply thereof, the high purity refined version of it, comes from, you guessed it, China. So therefore I'd like to introduce and in comes Euro Manganese. So I'm an investor in Euro Manganese. Euro Manganese is a project that's based in the Czech Republic. It's called the Chvaletis project, and it's based on mine tailings. So there's an interesting element there in that it's not a completely new resource that has to be exploited, etc. It's previously been exploited, and this manganese will now be processed from these tailings. So that's a really important factor. It is probably one of the biggest resources outside of China, especially in the Western world, and it's going to be essential towards the supply chain. Now, as I mentioned, China currently is dominant in many of the supply chains, and there is a strong effort by North America and Europe to de-risk, as they say. Hence, there's a big interest in manganese, a big interest in obviously all the other minerals, etc. So this is where I think Euro Manganese is a crucial project. It's supported by various European investment agencies. What I purchased is actually listed on the TSX stock exchange. So it's really nice to be invested in a Canadian listed company as well, and it has a huge future from my perspective and potential. So as usual, most of the charts, whether they are for lithium or for other materials or graphite, including manganese, the demand is expected to literally explode. So the tailwinds are looking good, the EV market's looking good, with support from IRA, with support from the EU Critical Minerals Act, and with the involvement of organizations like European Investment Bank, EBRD, it all really looks nicely lined up. So let's take a closer look at the yummy part, right? The financials. So DFS has been done. It was done kind of mid-late 2022, and a result came in US dollars, post-tax 1.3 billion NPV. That's post-tax 1.3 billion NPV. Last time I checked, EMN, Euro Manganese, had a market value, Canadian dollars, about 90 million or so. So, I mean, for a project, and we'll go into more detail into how far advanced that is, but for a project that I believe is advancing, let's just say there's big upside. I mean, the market has valued it the way it has, but and I won't go against the collective wisdom of the entire market, but I will say there's great upside. And this is what has been happening in the market. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of the Gartner hype cycle and the hype curve. Maybe we're kind of surfing that hype wave or curve, but at the moment I believe we're in a downward phase, but for a company with significant potential. Now, one of the things I like to mention and draw attention to is obviously the quality of the team. I'll start with the president and CEO, Matt James, and I think I like his background, I like his experience, I like the fact that he's communicating, and I like his previous involvement with Linus Resources. So I think that's a big plus, and obviously a great executive leadership team with him. And there have been some recent developments as well. I just shuttled through some of them. A first offtake agreement has been announced. I think that was with DYOR, and there are offtake discussions with greater than, I think, 200,000 tons per annum, which is more than it can produce. So those are along the kind of discussion funnel and kind of term sheet and etc., which is highly positive. EPCM contract's been awarded to Wood Group, and then there's also been an announcement of an additional project in Bécancour in Quebec, and that's to do with a processing plant in North America to benefit from the IRA there. That makes sense. That is something we'll go into more detail next time. I'd like to focus on the core project, but there is a kind of an additional bonus project there as well. Now, in terms of timeline and sign-offs, a number of things have been done. I mean, the demonstration plant has been producing samples, which I think is excellent. There has been continued work on permitting. We're moving towards that crucial final investment decision process, and I think we need to watch this carefully. Offtake discussions are ongoing. So progress is being made. I guess the market is waiting for further announcements, but as per latest updates, things are going in the right direction. And there are various catalysts that we're expecting, and we'll keep an eye on those catalysts, and we'll keep updating in the coming weeks and months. A recent scoping study was done for the new project in North America, and I won't discuss that here, but reasonable NPV estimate. But I'd like to go into that in more detail in the next discussion. So, in summary, there's also been a Q3 update, and I'd like to, you guessed it, go into more detail in that discussion. But I'll summarize quickly here. We've got a few more other things. From the Q3 report, Manganese still has cash equivalents, resources around 11 million Canadian dollars, I think, from memory. There's been a pretty good write-up actually by Next Investors on the latest developments, so it's worth going into that, and maybe we'll bring some of their analysis into the next discussion. And also Canaccord Genuity, investment institution, has got a price target of $1.15. So whereas we're currently at around 20 cents, with an expected NPV of the initial first project of $1.3 million post-tax. So very interesting project, very strategic project, big names involved, financial institutions, banks, etc. Offtakes, discussions ongoing, progress being made, new project in North America. Let's go into this in more detail next time. I'm really excited about this particular investment. I'm here for the long term, and look forward to the coming developments. Have a really good evening, and for some of you it may be early morning pretty soon, so have a great morning as well. Thanks.